Now that we have created the special attribute for the relationships, we will use the following spreadsheet to start mapping the part numbers to the vendor numbers. So the first thing that we need to update for this Excel spreadsheet is the collection attribute name. The attribute that we just created, we named it pricing data. So we have to make sure that we update the first row under column 8 as pricing data. Then the item numbers, this is where you will be placing the part numbers that we created. And then the member item numbers, this is where we are placing all the vendor codes that we created as well. So as you can see, item number ABCDE0000 relates to vendor 20,000 and also vendor 30,000. And as an additional part, we can see that part number ABCDE 10,000, it is related to vendor 50,000, also to vendor 70,000 and vendor 90,000. And we do so on for the remaining parts. Then under member item qualifier, we will provide the qualifier that we stated when we did the load for the vendor codes. So in this case, we did it part.pricing, so we will just only provide pricing. And then the member item root qualifier is the parts, and we stated that name part.0 when we created the random parts. And for operation, we will just keep it as add. Now we can save this file, and then we will do a save as, and we will save it as a text file. So I will just change the name to this as testing, relationship mapping testing. So we save it as a text file, click on save, we close the Excel file, and now we go to the folder where we saved that text file, and we will convert this text file to an RDL file. We right click on the file, click on rename, and then after the dot we will type RDL, lowercase letters. We click on OK, we hit on yes, and now this is the file that we will use for the mapping. Now we go back to the thin client and we click on item loader, click on import, we browse for that file that we just created. We called it relationships mapping testing. We select this one, click on open, the root qualifier is part, we hit OK, then we click on auto map, then the item number is mapped to the item number, we click on preview and import, and then you can see how these parts are now related to the vendors. If we click on the first one, you can see that ABCD0000 is related to vendor 20,000 and vendor 30,000, and the same for the remaining parts. Now we click on import, just give it a few seconds. Now we see that it says item loaded. We go back through DFR online, you go to Smart Find, click on root, we will find the category where we created those random parts, we click on them, and we can just select any part number. In this case we will select the first one, then we go to the pricing data tab, and there they are. Now you can see that the vendor codes have been mapped to a part number.